What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. MLB, Chicago Cubs versus Detroit Tigers. So the Cubs have a 56.3% chance to win, and the Tigers have a 43.7% chance to win. This is at Detroit for pitchers. Uh, Talon for the Cubs has an ERA of 3.76 and a WHIP of 1.01. And Montero for the Tigers has an ERA of 4.02 and a WHIP of 1.46. So, it's not a large difference in pitching. It's like a little less than zero point 0.3 difference in ERA. But four is like a good Mendoza line, what's considered, in my opinion, what's considered good. So I would say the Cubs have the pitching advantage, but it is slight. So I would say the home field advantage is going to be the big thing. So I think the Tigers will beat the Cubs tomorrow. Around Blue Jays versus Minnesota Twins. The Blue Jays have a 44.6% chance to win, and Twins have a 55.4% chance to win. This is at Minnesota. For pitchers, Gaussman for the Blue Jays has an ERA of 3.82 and a WHIP of 1.02, and Paddock for the Twins has an ERA of 3.58 and a WHIP of 1.13. So good pitching for both teams. Slight advantage in favor of the Twins, but I don't think it's significant enough to matter much. So I think home field advantage will be the big thing here. So I think the Twins will beat the Blue Jays tomorrow. Los Angeles Dodgers versus St. Louis Cardinals. The Dodgers have a 61.8% chance to win, and the Cards have a 38.2% chance to win. This is at St. Louis. For pitchers, Yamamoto for the Dodgers has an ERA of 2.39 and the WHIP of 1. And Fed for the Cards has an ERA of 3.82 and the WHIP of 1.29. So good pitch for both teams, but I would say it's definitely an advantage for the Dodgers in pitching. So, despite the home field advantage that the Cards have, I think the Dodgers, with their pitching advantage, will beat the Cardinals tomorrow. Houston Astros versus Cleveland Guardians. The Astros have a 57.1% chance to win, and the Guardians have a 42.9% chance to win. This is at Cleveland. For pitchers, Brown for the Astros has an ERA of 1.83 and a WHIP of .91. And Williams for the Guardians has an ERA of 3.79 and a WHIP of 1.45. So good pitcher, good pitcher for both teams, but a definite advantage for the Astros in pitching. Like that's an ERA at less than 2. That and Williams is a little less than 4. So that's a definite pitching advantage for the Astros. So I think despite the home field advantage that the Guardians have, I think the Astros with their pitching advantage are gonna beat the Guardians tomorrow. San Diego Padres versus Milwaukee Brewers. The Padres have a 45.2% chance to win, and the Brewers have a 54.8% chance to win. This is at Milwaukee. For pitchers, Kolek for the Padres has an ERA of 3.47 and a WHIP of 1.24, and Quintana for the Brewers has an ERA of 2.77 and a WHIP of 1.28. So good pitcher for both teams, but I'd say with the ERA that's almost less. It's a little less than one difference lower than the than the Padres pitcher. I think the Brewers have the pitching advantage here, like definite pitching advantage. So with home field advantage and pitching advantage, I think the Brewers are going to beat the Padres tomorrow. College baseball, Miami Hurricanes versus Louisville Cardinals, game 2. So Louisville leads 1-0 in the series. And so if Louisville wins tomorrow, they move on to the College World Series. If Miami wins, they tie it and moves to Game 3. So this could be a good game. Both good baseball schools. Neither team is ranked, but both are good baseball schools. I think with it being at Louisville, hmm, it is tough to say. I mean, you know, with it being game two, this is it's not like if it was regular season, I probably would pick Louisville, but I think this is going to 3 games. I'm picking Miami to win tomorrow to tie the series to take it to game 3. Arizona Wildcats versus North Carolina Tar Heels. So North Carolina beat the living stew out of Arizona game 1. So North Carolina's up 1-0 in the series. So I mean, this is at North Carolina, not an easy place to play in, and North Carolina is number 5 in the nation, while Arizona is unranked. North Carolina, like I think North Carolina's winning game 2. They're going to Omaha after in 2 games. They're sweeping Arizona. So yeah, Tar Heels are winning. Murray State versus Duke. So Murray State, so they've got a few upsets to make it to to the super regionals, and same thing with Duke. Neither team, I don't think, neither team hosted a regional. So Duke's hosting a super regional. This is in Durham, so it's definitely a home field game for Duke. like, I mean, and there'll probably be significant more Duke fans than Murray State fans. So I think, and this is game 1. So I think with it being at Duke, I mean, heck, like I think Duke is going to win game 1 tomorrow to go up 1-0 in the series with a chance to clinch it on Sunday. West Virginia Mountaineers versus LSU Tigers. So this is the Baton Rouge Super Regional. This is in Alex Box Stadium, one of the toughest stadiums to play in the nation. West Virginia is unranked. LSU is 6. Yeah, this being at LSU and how good LSU is, LSU's winning game 1 tomorrow. Like it, and yeah, Tigers winning this. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers versus Auburn Tigers, game 2. So game 1, it is currently 6-3 Coastal Carolina. So Coastal Carolina wins, they go up 1-0 with a chance to clinch it tomorrow, and then Auburn would then have a chance to tie. And if Auburn comes back to win, they have a chance to clinch tomorrow, and with Coastal Carolina have a chance to tie. So Auburn's 4, Coastal Carolina's 13. I mean, Coastal Carolina had that run they made in 2016 where they won the College World Series. Like they were like the Cinderella team that actually won the College World Series. Yeah, I remember that one. So, yeah. So they're ranked 13, so obviously they're a good team. Both teams are good. So hmm, so this could be interesting. So I think that being at Auburn, I think I think Auburn wins tomorrow. Whether it's the clinch, whether it's the tie, I think Auburn wins tomorrow. Tennessee Volunteers versus Arkansas Razorbacks game 1. So this is in Fayetteville, super regional. So Tennessee's 14, Arkansas is 3. This could be a really good series. You know, both are really good baseball schools. Tennessee more recently good. Arkansas has been good for a while. So yeah, this is gonna be a really good series. I think with it being at Fayetteville, I think Arkansas takes the first game tomorrow. UTSA Roadrunners versus UCLA Bruins. So this would be the Los Angeles Super Regional. So a little farther than UTSA is probably used to traveling. You know, so yeah, gonna be a lot of UCLA people there. Big baseball school. UCLA is 15 in the nation. UTSA has a lot of wins for a unranked teams, especially G5 level. So yeah, I think UCLA is winning. I think with it being at LA, with how good they are, I think the Bruins are beating the Roadrunners tomorrow. Gain more victories over Roadrunner than Wile E. Coyote ever did. Florida State Seminoles versus Oregon State Beavers, game 2. So Oregon State is up 1-0 in the series. So if they win tomorrow, they move on to Omaha, and Florida State wins, they tie it. So good series. Number 8 versus number 9. This is in Corvallis. So yeah, I mean, I think if this was a regular season one, I would pick Oregon State to win both of the first 2 games, most likely. But I think with this being postseason, it changes things as far as how things go. I think this is going to 3 games, so I'm picking Florida State to beat Oregon State tomorrow to tie the series and take the series to game 3. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.